Instagram world. Today we are talking about delicious skincare, women in business, all the fun things that come with, yeah, nourishing our bodies and our skin, our skincare routines. I know all women, all people care. Just clearing my throat about skin and how to take care of our skin, how to really shine. I feel like the skin is a symbol of health and vitality, and there's so much that goes into really beaming in your skin. So I'm gonna invite Rachel to join us. Hi Christine, hi Paulina, hi Guinevere, hi Emery, hi Selena, hi Belinda, hi Ella, hi Tom Tom. I'm so glad you're all here. I just posted skin, which I want to pin as the post. Rachel is going to request to join. And we're going to just have a fun conversation about starting our businesses, really creating beautiful products in the world. I love the branding and the products of Botanë. Rachel's gonna correct my pronunciation, but the way that the packaging is also a key to the enjoyment of the product and the sustainability of the product, and we're gonna get all into it in a moment. There we go, there's the request. Okay, one moment, I'm going to accept. Yeah, so maybe to just invite everyone to drop in with us. There
Hello,
you
we're
are.
trying it again. Hello, Annette.
Hi,
How you
Rachel.
doing?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here with you and get to
Oh,
just talk about, yeah, being boss babe businesswoman on a mission.
yeah, we're all doing it every day, all of us, and it takes a female village for sure, and just to nurture and support one another. I mean, I think that's all we really can do. Yeah,
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 totally. So I'll give the audience just a little brief rundown of our connection, which was
yeah.
actually almost like 5, 6 years ago when you just started.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like I've known you for, I don't know, lifetimes for sure. You have that special knack, which everyone knows that about you for sure. This the ancient wisdom for sure. But yeah, years ago. I think it's even longer. Maybe
It
seven
might
years.
actually be, yeah,
Yeah.
7 years. I was just thinking because Holly had just moved to Cape Town and you were experimenting. And I always felt really like you were very alluring and mystical, and you kind of had this geeky, like kind of a witchy side to your scientific geeky side. And you were just playing with products and making these beautiful potions of skin and skincare. Um,
Yeah.
and then I came back to Cape Town, and it was funny. I was speaking to my mum about this. I needed a sunblock, and somehow your brand came up in my mind. And I was like, I remember you did a really good sunblock. And as somebody who is always on the search for natural sunblocks that don't block your pores and leave you really cakey, your sunblock is just a dream, and it feels so good, and it really works as well, which as a
Thank
fair,
you.
yeah, a fair skinned
Yeah.
gal.
Yeah.
So
Three
so
years.
that's
That's 3 years that took, hey? That's the love and
really,
devotion of making something clean is it's a lot more difficult from formulary side, which I mean we can get into the nerdy science if you want. I go pretty nerdy pretty fast. But I love that you appreciate that because it's the mindfulness and the technical aspects of it. It's a lot harder to make cleaner products to compete with the synthetic stuff that everyone's used to. So thank you for noticing that. That's yeah, that feels good.
yeah. And actually I think that's the foundation of this conversation. It's your passion and attention to detail and care is really felt in the brand. And what I was going to say is, once I started the sunblock, prior to now having a beautiful skincare routine, I didn't do anything to my skin. I kind of just popped on some rosehip oil here and there. Sometimes I was putting butter on my face, like whatever I could get a hold of, I just lather on and make do. And as I kind of, I'm getting older, I'm becoming more conscious, and especially understanding the ritual element of caring for myself and actually spending money on things that matter to my personal self-care ritual, I realized, I was like, I always used to love how my mom had her like skincare products and they were all like so beautiful, and every morning she'd do her face, and it was very nostalgic. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm that adult now. Like I'm ready. I'm ready to actually, yeah, like look after my skin and really spend good money on beautiful products that I know feed this young skin that I have, that I want to, yeah, keep nourished in an environment that has full of pollution and sun damage and all the kind of things that come with just daily life.
Yeah, and I love that story you're telling of you watching your mother just applying, like just having that wisdom to take 5 minutes and have a ritual in life, which it's so uncertain, of how we can create some sort of normalcy and certainty of doing something really lovely for ourselves. And it's like beyond pampering and trying to, like the vanity side of it. I mean, sure, we all want to look nice, but it's just taking that mindfulness moment for 5 minutes of where we've created something for ourselves in just an uncertain, bonkers world. It's really lovely. And I think that the tactile, experiential, sensory part of it, that's, for me, that's everything. And that's, I could speak about that for a long time, about how that's the intention behind the formulations, is that it's intelligently designed to have that tactile sensory experience, because we need that to connection with our environment, and also just have the simple tactile experiences, when there's so much noise out there in the world, of where we can just really tune in and just focus on one thing, and the beauty and the touch and the smell and just the feel. I think we need that. We need that tactile experience. And so it's everything, and it's something so simple, but we're craving it. Yeah.
I love that you said that, because I'm actually in this somatics, like trauma training, and really understanding the nervous system. And ultimately, everybody is looking for sensory moments of presence to kind of calm the vagal nerve, to actually, yeah, be with ourselves, be present with our skin, and the smell and the texture of the cream, like especially the peptide cream and the serum, and that process. I've really found, and my followers will know, I'm not a kind of commercial type of person. Like, I buy things because I really care about them. And this has been the greatest gift for myself. And that's why I thought, before I send out coupon codes, I want people to kind of get a little bit of context to you and your journey, because there's also a face behind these beautiful products of somebody who spent, as you said, years tinkering, developing, like all your sweat, blood, and tears, I can imagine, over this time to birth this baby.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so special that, when you create something and it's my baby, I'm a mother, as a mother to the products and just to a following, it's almost like I guess I'm a appointed matriarch in my own realm, and it's so beautiful. And I love that maternal connection with the line and with the products, to birth them, if you will. And I mean, Annette, you and I are so like-minded, and I'm sure you know, your followers are very much connected the same way, that we live in a world where we're plagued with autoimmune disorders, and we just have this hypersensitivity and just hyper awareness of what's going on. And if we can simplify it somehow, and I'm also not a commercial person. Having a skincare line, it's, for me, it's a conversation. I'm just a nerdy medical scientist who really loves plants, and I want to just plants for world peace, you know, plants to heal the world. I mean, everything that we need is here. We just need to tap in and understand it. And whether it's about skin wellness, or it's about inflammation, or looking at cancer treatments, I mean, everything is can be healed through plants. And I think that's where we have that underlying connection at a really deep level. It's people that it's beyond just plant-based, clean label, but it's like, no, I live, breathe plants. I mean, this is my life, and I want to continue, you know, just to dive in. There's so much.
I love that. It is. And what I felt with particularly with your brand, and even for my own journey with Wild Nettle, it's like we're putting the plants on a stage. We get to like really bring their beauty to life and like honor them in the most delicious way by creating these products. Because ultimately that's what we're here for, you know, to find beauty and value and exchange. And so I kind of got over my like commercial resistance and was like, Annette, this is what we're, you know, this is life. This is the gift and beauty of life. And these plants really get this experience of, you know, interacting with the world in this way now.
Well, and also that, and it's that commercialization side of it, but it's, what are you rooted in? Are you authentic? Are you honest? Are you honoring? And I think that's the biggest thing, is that when it's rooted in something good and you're not exploiting, I think that's just it's the different ethos there. And you and I are very much on the same page, where you can do things in an ethical, beautiful way that honors, without, you know, smearing that, it, you know, salesy, you know, gimmicks and all that stuff. Because if something's good, it just sells itself. And I think there's a natural movement there, and that's really what it's about, you know. If it's good, you don't need to push it. It's just people understand it and they want to be connected to it. And there's a magnetic force, if you will, that it's just there. So yeah, it's natural.
Yeah, totally. That is very much the nature of your brand, because it kind of like it came back into my awareness, and I was like, whoa, I haven't thought about this since I left Cape Town, because I was living in New York. But once I returned, it's as you say, and I started using the products again, I was like, this is the best. Like, of course I'm going to continue using these products because they really work. And you don't sell it, like you don't see the big branding. It's word of mouth, it's organic, it makes its way. So I love that. That's, the product speaks for itself. But I wrote here, I wanted to know, particularly because I think it's always fun. A lot of people don't know how products are made, or, you know, that process. And because you have a background in preventative medicine, how, what was you do a lot of, tell us a little about your process and your background.
The process. I will be succinct, which is something that is always a development area for me. No, so I've trained in medicine as a mid-level, and went into working in public health. I worked with the UN and WHO in Europe, and it was very much focused on health prevention, and moved to Cape Town in 2009. And I was working on a UN project there, and got into malaria, TB, HIV work, and plant biodiversity. Was working with the University of Western Cape there, and for me, plants, that soulful, mindful, environmental connections, always been there. And to being trained in medicine, and understanding the Western medicine construct was a foundation for me. And you know, it works together. I think there's that, you know, Western medicine sometimes can have a stigma. And I think for me, it provided the baseline to understand the way that the body communicates, what the physiology is and what the anatomy is. And it was a good foundation. But for me, the curious mind does not stop, and innovation and understanding the why, and keep on asking questions. And through additional training and travel and research and mentorships with beautiful, wonderful plant experts, yeah, it was a modeling and learning and being open and curious. I think that curiosity it just never left me, and I sometimes am still awake in the middle of the night. So there's about 3 years of preliminary research and development, and working with some ethnobotanists within South Africa, really talented people. Yeah, it was a really beautiful journey. And so I launched the line officially in 2012 in South Africa, being arguably, and it's not about the first, but understanding that there was a gap and we needed a product line, a professional botanical product line that's effective, that's respectful, and that tells a beautiful plant story. And because the biodiversity in South Africa is phenomenal. It is. I was just speaking to our head of ops, Tarn, who's on this call. She's my right hand.
Love you, Tarn.
We love you, Tarn. You're so great. And I was saying, because you had asked about like the future, so I'm going to dovetail the R&D, but also where we're going, because it's like you have to, you always have to keep that in mind of where are you going? What's on the horizon to keep us going, and to understand that for me, it's about that mindful connection of bringing that plant experience to everyone, and to be sustainable. And I was telling Tarn this morning on our call that, I mean, my dream, which will happen, it's getting the funding and getting it all ready, but to have just an expansive property of growing these beautiful plants, and bringing awareness to the public, and of how we can be connected with our environment, and how healing and peaceful and important it is, and bringing the science into it as well. So it's an all-around win for everyone. And that's really where I have a research institute in Cedarburg. Take me there now. So
yes,
yeah, I'd love it. So we can come out and just do plant tinctures and mix and do workshops and teach people the simple, beautiful way of how we can live, which of course it's vitality and wellness and beauty, but it's for every facet of our lives. I mean, I think it's really beautiful. But so that's where we're going. But where we came from was the roots of medicine, natural health, and prevention, and using the body as a immunodefensive warrior, a system, if you will, and understanding that to tap into just beautiful skin health. And that if you use a natural stimulus to promote the skin to heal, you can do that in a really respectful way that's not overly invasive, doesn't require all these invasive techniques, which there's no judgment. Everybody is in a different place, but for me, and for the philosophy of what I stand for, is that everything that we need is here. It's just tapping into it in the right way. So just to touch on how the formulations, if you want me to just go into it, it's just again, like with the sunscreen, it's how do you redefine cosmetic chemistry that's clean? It's difficult. And how do you create something where it's not a smoke and mirrors type of formulation of actually what you see is what you get? Because label, there's a lot of deception. and I'm not here to speak about how bad the industry is and things, but I mean, unfortunately, there's some bad apples and bad players in the world and in the skincare industry, of where, you know, it's there's ways to make something feel more rich and sensual than it is by using a chemical process. So it's like, how do you have a beautiful, clean, intentional product that's effective, but that's just straightforward?
Yeah.
And that takes longer. So, but I mean, but the best things happen, you know, slow and steady. It's just in being mindful and just doing it the right way. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I had a yogi that once said that they said that the hard way leads to an easy life, and the easy way leads to a hard life. And easy life meaning that you're enlightened, right? And so
Yes.
that hard is part of it, and that the blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't take it back. I mean, it's, and yeah, I think it's
I
really
actually,
beautiful.
yeah, I really love this. There was two key things that I was thinking about. First, on this hard road, easy road thing, I have realized so much that our biggest issue is that we are so used to quick fixes. And I see this in the healthcare and in medicine, and even with this like very invasive peeling and desire for like a quick result to your skin or to your health. And starting Wild Nettle and making the infusions and bringing the ritual back to what we do, I realized like that's actually where the healing begins, because we're teaching ourselves to slow down and to trust nature's process, which is a slower process, but it leads to sustainable results. And what I love about your products, and I do want to talk about this because I think a lot of young women, we get bombarded with like cool new fads of like, do the blood mask, do these weird like needling things and strip your skin with chemicals. And I see so many young women like, you know, trying out these new cool things on their skin. And it's the same with supplements, like people just pumping, you know, these synthetic vitamins into their bodies to try to get healthy instead of really like accessing minerals through plants naturally. Because just like when you take a supplement that's quick fix or a, you know, a drug, your body stops actually doing the work itself, and it gets used to the quick fix. And I imagine it's the same with the skin. Like when you keep doing all the work for your skin, like doing these massive peels and pumping it with chemicals, the natural like blossoming of the skin's process gets messed up. And maybe you can talk about that, because I love the weekly revival, which is not a peel, but it's a natural way for, as you say, for the skin to yeah, you talk about the science of it, because that was so cool, the weekly
I
revival.
love that you brought, we are definitely on the same wavelength. We were just, Tarn and I were speaking about the weekly revival this morning, and that there's, I'll walk into the science just now, but I think from an overview, anytime I'll do the weekly revival, or other clients and friends and connections with the line will do the weekly revival, it's almost this psychological shedding where there's this psyche, there's a connection there of cleansing, which I think is really beautiful. And that's exactly how it was formulated. So there's a traditional Chinese herb called astragalus, which has been known for immune modulation for centuries and centuries. It is a very powerful detoxifying herb, and for good reason. So it has a beautiful purging effect of drawing out toxins, and moving lymph around, which is very important. We're very lymph congested in general, just in modern day life. And also bilberry, which is a vasodilation plant. So it's used in heart formulations, for eye formulations and things, and that it's about bringing oxygen and blood flow and the nutrients that we need. I mean,
And
everything.
these are in the weekly revival.
Yes, in the weekly
These
revival.
plants. And what
Yes.
is the weekly revival for our new
Yeah.
followers?
So weekly revival, it's an enzymatic treatment that's used to melt away all of the rubbish of the skin. So all of the dead skin, without going too nerdy too fast, but over time, and just the skin being a immunodefensive organ, it basically starts building a layer of protection between the external world and our internal selves, which is really interesting. I mean, if you think of just not even from a anatomical medical standpoint, but the skin does that. And why? I mean, where are we in modern day life? Like air pollution, UV light, all of the
and all the makeup and all the sunblock and all the things we have to do to protect, that cakes up over time. And
it
the
does.
weekly revival, yeah, it feels like this refresher.
Yeah, but we need that. So one, the body is building up this layer of protection. So, but it's not. I mean, the body is extremely intelligent. I mean, we know that. Like, but it's obviously also trying to protect the skin from the outside world, which is pretty bonkers. Let's face it. So, I think it's one of these tools that we have, a tool to be able to melt and purge and cleanse of what we don't need. And anytime I do this treatment, which you can do it about once to twice a week, I mean, I feel better. Like I actually feel better. I feel calm. I feel balanced. I mean, and that's just me.
Well, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And if I think about it, because this is actually, we should have started with this, but people forget that the skin is an organ. Like it's the biggest organ. It's literally like a living organ. And so my rule with skincare then is like I have to be able to eat it because it's going into my bloodstream. And I know with your products they're all natural, so you can like, I mean, it's not fun to eat. You want to save that for your skin, but they're all botanical. And it actually made me think of avocado. Like that's a flavor or a smell that I feel comes through with the peptide serum. And I mean the peptide cream in particular. I don't know if there is avo, but it feels
There
like
is.
avo.
Yeah, there's avocado oil. There's beautiful botanicals, and some will pick up cucumber, avocado bits for sure. And it's the play of all the botanicals playing together, like a symphony. Scientists are trying to still figure out, like, for example, the astragalus that I was speaking about. Some researchers will say that there are more than 70 biomarkers on this herb that work in different ways. So that's basically all the different mechanisms of action of one plant. We don't even fully understand it. So plant biochemistry is mind-blowing. It's like exploring outer space. And yeah, I definitely would. I could keep on going down the nerdy hole. Take me out if you don't want me there. But yeah, I think it's so beautiful. And we're still on the cusp of understanding it, which is really great.
I love that. That's so beautiful that it really is birthed out of your geeky, obsessive like interest in plants and the intricacies of plants and how they can support us humans, you know, either through ingesting them and healing us or physically on the surface as well. And that's really beautiful. I wanted to also talk a little bit about business and being a businesswoman. And I know there's a lot of women on here that ask me, you know, how it is starting a company and the ups and downs. And I know that you have you're like the matriarch in your female team, which I think is such a big part of being a business, is like your team and the amazing women that support us through our through our, you know, ups and downs of the creative visions.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe a little share on the journey of the business side of things
Mm.
and the particularly like staying, like staying, you know, even when things feel like, oh my gosh, am I going to ever sell anything? Like
Yeah.
where the, I feel that's a big one.
Yeah. Gosh, that's a really beautiful question. And I'm not going to stand up and act that I'm an expert. I'm learning just like the rest of us. And every day it's a different set of challenges. And since we've had this funny, crazy global, upsets, it's even more challenging now. But I think from the beginning, uh, you just one, it's faith of just jumping in there, of just where you in a belief system that you have something, being authentic about it, and being true and soulful, and finding the right, and maybe it's not even finding, it's just putting it out there, and there's an attraction. I think that's exactly what happened with Botany or Botane, depending upon which part you are, geographic area in the world. We answer to everything. And working with like-minded people and having a mentor is really important. And a mentor that's in a whole different life experience and different time in their life, professionally, personally. And you can have a personal mentor, a professional mentor, or both. They may not be the same person, but mentorship's really important. And having a support group, and it doesn't have to be an official one, of where you're soundboarding with other like-minded people, particularly women, and to discuss, to troubleshoot, and soundboarding out loud is so important. It is one of the most helpful coping mechanisms and tools that I've had through the years yeah. I have my sister, she's a therapist, and she says, you're so good at solving and troubleshooting, you're too good, you try to help everyone. Because it's like I go immediately in my mind of like, all right, this is the problem, okay, there's 5 different solutions, let's figure it out. But you become a mastermind of solving problems just through practice and experience. And especially within South Africa, which South Africa is the most phenomenal, spectacular place on earth, but it has its own share of obstacles. So it's thinking outside the box of how we can figure that out. I mean, I'll give you an example. It's finding sustainable packaging within South Africa and not outsourcing it from other countries. It's keeping your supply chain and your ethos of, we are a South African company, we support a developing country nation. That's who we are. Sourcing within South Africa, our whole entire supply chain. And then obviously COVID is tricky, right? So that was an example of where, how do you stay true to your values of your philosophy and live it, not just speak about it, but down to our sourcing and our supply chain management, where we're not going to source from overseas. It's going to be more difficult, we might run out of stock, but we're going to do the right thing. And those are hard conversations. And again, it's coming back to that, the hard way, but we're doing the right thing in our own realms to support, local economy and business and things. So you cuddling next to the peptide cream.
Yes.
But yeah, yeah, circling back, the mentorship, like-minded women, and just doing your research too. I think market data and analysts. I mean, there's a lot of information that you can get nowadays to make an educated decision if you're going to jump into something. I think that's really important. As nerdy as it sounds, of working with numbers and things, but having a trusted group of experts that you can work with to make, of course, jumping in, maybe head first or toe first, because there's risk always, but my most favorite thing in it is, I never thought years ago in a medical science journey, through plants and botany, that I would be working with other women. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. And it's helped me grow. It's really helped me grow personally and professionally, of where I'm working with young women. Maybe they're trying to formulate, they're trying to start a line, or they're launching a brand, and just working with them because I remember what it was like. And not that I'm an expert, but through experience and through working with so many different types of people and different industries, I want to share that. I think that's and I don't know who said it, but I always come back to this: is that celebrating other people's success doesn't take anything away from your own, and that's, we lift each other up, because it's not about me, it's not about my ego, it's just spreading. And when people they have good intentions, they're doing beautiful things, that helps us all. And we need that. We need hope, we need positivity, we need optimism and innovation and new discoveries. That is a saving grace for this planet. It is. And so how do we be part of that? So I'm very passionate about that. So if I could just live in that space, and that every day, every moment. Yeah.
It's so funny that you say this. I'm actually just thinking aloud here. You can have like this cool farm where you also are empowering like young female entrepreneurs, and the mentorship thing is just, that is, I'm so glad you said that, because it's honestly the absolute truth. Even for my own journey, having women who I could talk to and just bounce off. And my partner doesn't understand it. Even though I might know the answer, I just need to speak it through with somebody. And I have this amazing woman, Georgie. She's like I feel like she's my business doula. She helped me really birth it. And she was just there consistently when I knew how to do it myself, but I just wanted to be with somebody, like just going through the motions, you know? It really makes a huge difference. So I love that. It does take a team and a group of like-minded women. And I'm actually part of this collective called the Wealthy Women, and it's all about redefining wealth, which is health, which is, you know, living a luxurious life that's also sustainable. The two don't have to be separate. And I think that's a key to also what you do, is that as these really like health conscious, earth conscious beings, merging the luxury, like the beauty, with with the sustainability and the health side. And who's to say that, like, you know, two hippies can't also be fabulous ladies with our skincare rituals? It's just so good.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, there's no rules. There are no rules. That's, and the fact that, you know, and that's the thing is, and I share this all the time, is that consumers, which I don't like that word, but people, you know, I wish we could just barter, you know, in exchange, and not have money or crypto or any of these funny things in the world. But like back when we just bartered for services, like, it's beautiful. I think there's something there. But yeah, I think we could go back to our roots, and we have so much power of a person that's buying an item or a service, that you consumers, let's not call them that, but clients, including ourselves, I mean, we can shape the way the industry, and we can shape movements just by what we're purchasing,
where we put our dollar. Totally it's our responsibility. Like every time you purchase another thing off a mass company that's exploiting its people or the planet, you are paying a part in that. Like, we stop that train. It's really about like radical self-responsibility. If you want to see a world of beauty and care, and it's really beautiful. And I think that's also why I wanted to have this talk, because it's transparency, and it's knowing the face behind a brand, which builds the loyalty that I think many consumers are now seeking, where we like, you know what, it's worth it for me to know and trust, and then like choose the quality over, you know, mass kind of quantity and cheaper products. And you buy into the brand long term, especially for things like face care. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
this is a daily routine. And so the more we know about you and the journey, the better. And I just feel I'm really excited that we got to kind of have a little peek
Yeah.
um, behind the scenes
Yeah.
of
Well,
real.
I'd love to do it again too. Now, I mean, and I have to say that, and I love that we that there was an attraction to draw you back, you know, and it always is that with our clients, is that we have a family, and no matter if they've moved to Australia, they're in Dubai, or they're in South America. I mean, we have clients from all over the world, and they try the product once, and then they're a lifelong family member, that they will always need their peptide cream, and
Mm,
and you understand and you feel the difference, because
mm,
the
mm,
way that it's formulated and the organoleptic properties to it, of where you have 5 minutes to yourself, shut the bathroom door, the dogs are barking, the children are screaming, but you can have 5 minutes on your own and have this beautiful experience. Like your mother, she took
mm,
away that 5 minutes for herself,
mm,
and I think,
mm,
like you said, this radical self-care and wellness is so important. I mean, no one's
mm.
going to look after you and advocate for you besides yourself. No, I mean,
Yeah,
no one's going
yeah,
to. So what are the
so true.
choices that you're making every day, and how can
Mm.
we be more mindful, and how can we lift up others who are trying to do the same thing? And I think it's really what it's about.
Yes. Speaking of, before we wrap up, I would like to know, because I absolutely love the branding and the packaging.
Thank
And
you.
I know that you used to do glass, and some people may ask, like, why do
Ah,
you now use this packaging? And for me, I'm so grateful because I travel and the lightweightness of this. So maybe just chat to us a little bit about the packaging, because it's
perfect.
really great.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So everything is manufactured within South Africa, and a lot of it we've pivoted through supply chain changes, as you know, as a South African brand owner, and to stay true as of using local um, suppliers and supply chain. That's really important, but also can be challenging at the same time. Um,
Mm.
Glass is amazing. It's quite heavy, and for us, because we warehouse in South Africa, here in California, I'm in San Francisco at the moment. You can see the redwood tree behind me. This beautiful one.
Oh,
Uh, and so we transitioned to a scientific grade composite material. So it's a special type of material that withstands highly acidic and like basic and acidic conditions. And so it's what the material that they use in scientific laboratories and things. So, which
wow.
is different from standardized plastics and things like that. It's a heavy grade. It's basically if a composite material would be glass, but it's not. So it behaves like
Yeah.
glass. It doesn't have a tensile strength. So that's why you use a pump. If you know, if you're at
Mm.
home, and you can use a dispensing cap. So because it can crack, it behaves very much like the properties of glass, but it's lighter. Um,
Mm.
I mean,
Mm.
I I can't wait to jump into the fungi plastic alternatives. I think, and we're very much looking into that. It's when it's readily available within South Africa, we'll be one of the first to jump in. And yeah, there's some other very sustainable innovation products that are being formulated right now. I'm working on
Mm.
where they're waterless. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's coming, and that's the future, really. So there's a lot of things that are coming, and I just wanted to say this just wholeheartedly, that I'm always here to soundboard, whether we do it live,
Mm.
which have been so
Mhm.
fun. Thank you for inviting
Mhm.
me. And any of your followers, or women, you know, young, old, um, that are trying something new and they just want a soundboard or bounce a question, that I can share what I've learned, and if it's helpful, I'm happy to share it. So we just, yeah, we all need to rally together.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'm definitely going to chat to you about um, like preserving products with natural preservation with plants.
Yes.
I know
Oh, that's a
we had a
whole other talk. That's,
yeah.
let's do the next one of natural preservation. Yeah,
Mm,
I help other brands try to make their products clean and, like, you know, fresh veggies. Of how do you preserve products, because you need some sort of preservation, but how do you do it
mhm,
in a mindful, non-endocrine disrupting way that's respectful to the environment and to the body, the host.
mm, mm.
Yes, I think that's our
I'm
next
so
topic.
that yeah, we must definitely get into that. And you hit the mark there, because one of the questions, some of the girls were asking me questions like, please ask her this, and endocrine, like hormones. I think a lot of women, when they're dealing with, for me, I came off the pill, I got loads of pimples. I had to have this journey of harmonizing my
Yeah,
hormones within.
yeah.
And yeah, I like that you said in your products you do consider that as well. Like, what would somebody who's suffering with hormonal imbalance?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. So, you know, we are bombarded with phytoestrogens in our pesticides. So that's creates mimics estrogen compounds. Um, yeah, non-organic food, which is tricky in some places, and it's more expensive. You know, it should be, you know, the chemical food should be more expensive, and the healthy stuff should be cheaper for everybody. Um, so so what we ingest, of course, and making sure that we're eating
Mm-hmm.
well and as best as we can, and we know the supply chain, and eating
Mm-hmm.
as close to our own gardens as we can, and very much so. So preservatives are known to be quite estrogen mimicking, as well as various chemicals that are in, unfortunately, they're in a lot of products, not just skin products. They can be in oral care, oral health products, and yeah, our laundry soaps, and cleaning products, and baby products, and grooming products. So it's just looking out for what's there. And I mean, for me, it's just, I have red flag, red listed stuff that I would never use from the beginning, and it's more difficult, but it's, I find it kind of a
Right.
fun challenge figuring out how to develop something and have it better and more effective, but with it being non-endocrine disrupting and clean. And clean
Mm-hmm.
can mean different things, Annette. So my definition of clean is very strict compared to, and I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I just, that's the way I formulate. That's how I advise others to formulate, is that, okay, put your red list items there, and you know, we'll go through them, but there's so many ingredients that are endocrine disrupting, and that's, you wonder why we are just bombarded with autoimmune diseases and will continue to be so. So it's like, how do we get rid of the excess and focus on simple wellness? Less is
Mm-hmm.
more. And I love that you brought up about the synthetic supplements, which is, internal beauty is a whole other conversation that I would be happy to speak to you about, because, and learning more about your gorgeous tinctures that,
Infusions, yes.
yes, infusions, tinctures, yeah, yeah. The infusion is, I think
I
it's
have
so.
some. This is
Ooh.
this is nettle. I mean, this is like how rich I make the infusion, because I just yeah. Oh, it's so exciting. We could definitely talk about it. But it's all it really is accessing absorbable minerals from plants in a way that the body recognizes, and that the body can choose how to like absorb. Because when you inject minerals and like, put these supplements that are synthetic, the body doesn't get to like have a choice. It's just, you're just shoving it in. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really interested in the supplement industry and just how confused people are around what's healthy. And you
And
probably see it in skincare.
I
It's
do.
like
Well, and
if
I
it is
work on the,
natural,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
doesn't
And
it?
gosh, that looks so gorgeous, that nettle. I want to have some right now. No, but I think it's really interesting that you bring up about the synthetic side. You know, I just was at a conference a few weeks ago about nutraceuticals here and how much adulteration is going on. And I'm not fear mongering at all, but it's bringing light about how much, if there's a demand for a botanical or a plant, the way that it's being manufactured, there's ways to adulterate it and adding synthetic components to it. I mean, it's not having everywhere, but certain ingredients, they're finding that they're adulterated and bringing some synthetic components to it, which you're ingesting that, like, you know, as you say, it's so it's learning and then tapping in of what's really going on. And the closer we can get to the source, and in working and purchasing and supporting things that we really believe in, and that, I mean, I don't know how else we would, you know, want to do it. I mean, I think that's the future. It should be, at least, right? Yeah. And then maybe we can just, can you tell me, because you had said infusion versus tincture, teach me your ways.
Yes.
Tell me the
So
difference.
yeah, a tincture is when you take a plant and you're usually using like an alcohol base or even a vinegar base, and you're really extracting like the more active properties and compounds. And infusion is you're infusing the plant in boiling water
Oh, he's
for
smarter.
a minimum of 4 hours. And you can do a
Okay.
cold infusion or a hot infusion. So I guess one could say it's a gentler process, and it's really to access the micro minerals, because the plant cell wall, as you probably know, it takes time for all those minerals to kind of seep into the water. So it's very
Absolutely.
different, because people often think like, oh, is it nettle tea? And I'm like, no, 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 it's nettle infusion, because we use a lot of dried herb infused overnight to then access, like, just to basically, like, if this is just a liquid minerals, it's about a
Yeah,
cup worth of dried herb with a liter of boiling water.
I
And
see.
what
Okay.
happens is, like, yeah, as you know, like, this is magnetic now. It absorbs straight into the bloodstream, so you don't have to worry about digesting. Like, you're literally just kind of, probably like with the skin, it's like it's just going straight in. um
Yeah,
Yes,
no, it's
yummy.
interesting. So, yeah, there's different mediums. So I was just curious because, I mean, you have like the standard nomenclature of tincture versus an infusion, but there's deviations for sure. So, yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. You can use an alcohol or an acid to draw out the active elements of the plant, or depending upon what the plant is, you can also use hot water, which you're totally spot on, that a lot of the hot water extractions and cold water can grab different spectrum, like a full spectrum of the plant, depending upon the plant. So, and there's so many different ways the extraction means. It's so phenomenal. And I'm going down the nerdy pathway again. But I would like
Yes,
to learn more about what you're doing and how we can work together. I think would be really,
yes,
really fun. Yeah.
yes. I see some like fun playtime that me and you are gonna
Yes.
have
Yeah.
with plants and making beautiful products. Um,
Beautiful.
I wanted to, yeah, I wanted to close off with, um, obviously now, you know, in this world, I'm gonna be so frank with everyone. As somebody who's grown this audience, I get the beautiful privilege of having my own little coupon code, which means that I can also earn through people buying Botane, 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 Botane.
All of it. Yes. Perfect.
All of it. So you get a discount, and you can obviously try the products out yourself. There's also, I love that you give those little testers. That's how I tested the mineral mask and was like,
Oh, that's delicious.
of course. Yeah, like of course I'm
Yeah.
gonna get the mineral mask.
Yeah.
So people can try them out. And you're based in South Africa, so obviously my South African audience can get, but you could also purchase from worldwide, the
Global.
UK,
Yeah, we ship
Europe.
anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. We
Oh,
have people all over, clients all over, a strong network of family. So yeah, anywhere, anywhere. Yeah.
that's so cool. So yeah, so I will share with everyone like the
Lovely.
links, and I think
Yeah.
I'll put it on my profile with all the how-tos. But
Lovely.
to close off, I do want to ask, what was your first product that you made in the range, like that you formulated, and then the one, it's so hard to say that there's a favorite, but is there one that, because
Oh
I
gosh,
already,
using the
I like
children. Yeah.
can't live without the creams, but yeah.
Yeah. So peptide cream was the first product that I've developed from the inception, which is and the whip cleanser was close to the second, which was a very complicated formulation to get it perfect, of the cream versus the gel. I mean, so, and those are our two best sellers. I mean, globally we have a lot of bestsellers, but the two. So oh, and the favorites, it changes, and it's based upon the needs of what I need, and the climate and the change, and all of that, and where I'm in the world traveling. I'd have to say the cellular is one of my absolute favorites. So it is a proanthocyanin based product. So that bright pink color that you see is from an algae that flamingos will eat to make them vibrant pink and glowing, and it's really high in antioxidants. And so we're obviously fighting this free radical race every day, and the exposure, and our actual chromosomes they'll shorten. And so that science has shown that a diet, and even topical application of antioxidant rich ingredients, cellular being one of those products, that it actually will start lengthening the little sensors on the chromosomes. That's which is very interesting. I think there's
So
something
what does that
there.
mean in layman's terms?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to, like, as I'm saying it, going, oh gosh, this is coming out. So there are ways that we can stop aging. Yeah. So, and that there's different theories of aging, which that's another whole talk. So, but that cellular is formulated in a very mindful way to counter age, and I think aging's beautiful at the same time. I mean, aging's gorgeous. It's just, you know,
You
we
can
want to age
age
how
beautifully.
we can, but
Yes.
I think we want to control how we age. That's for me. That's what it's about. It's I you know, I want to be able to have a say in it. That's it. That's, I mean, it doesn't mean, yeah, I'm not going to put a label on it. It's just I want to have more input into my aging. That's it. So
Yes.
cellular
Yes.
it's a cream based serum. It's very high in antioxidants. It has this gorgeous illuminating firming, and it's just it's a moisturizing serum that you layer. So cleanse, serum, moisturizer, and yeah, I just really love it for the winter, for winters in Cape Town. Beautiful.
I have a tester. I haven't used it yet. So cellular would come after my peptide serum, peptide cream, and then cellular.
Yeah, you can layer, which layer is gorgeous. You can, so it would always go aqueous to thick. So that's how you do it. So you would cleanse, then your aqueous serum, which is peptide serum, which is gorgeous, liquid gold, and then adding a more creamy, more humectant emollient serum, which cellular would be wonderful. It's really good at night.
Oh,
And you
is
can
it?
do it.
I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
tonight.
Yay. Yeah. It's so it's and it's, I think some of the best one of the best times that we can tap into the body's natural healing and restoration is when we're sleeping, and especially after that gorgeous wild nettle tea. That's, I would want that as a nightcap, and then cellular, I'm going to bed. So, but that's the best way. And while the body's restoring and resetting itself, and just using more of your denser emollient products at night is very helpful. So there's lots of skin tips. I think we need a few more of these. There's just not enough time. Yay.
Yes, we will definitely do more. And anyone, I saw Joelle popped on. I know a lot of you just joined late, so I would highly recommend going to the beginning. This was a talk on skincare and the beauty of Botanicals and these products that I have actually known, as we realized, for 7+ years when you just started. And I just wanted people to have a window into the amazing woman behind the brand, and your passion and your care and your love for the plants, and for making women feel beautiful. Because at the end of the day, I also realized we do care about how we look. We care about the texture and feeling of our skin. And as a woman who's also still modeling, like you say, I want to ensure that I'm taking care of my skin and supporting, nourishing it, in an environment that is going to have an effect. But yeah, let's pay towards the most beautiful products, and really take care of ourselves, and have an opportunity to have another ritual with our skincare routine.
Yeah. And support others that are doing the same. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, we're stronger in numbers for sure. So yeah, but I'm here anytime. You can ping me, ask me a question. Here to just to help propel this forward. And I love that you have such like-minded friends and followers that appreciate the same thing. We are way stronger in numbers, and that we can shape, again, we can shape where this is going, and it can be hopeful, it can be positive, it can be optimistic, it can be healthy. And we can, and it's awareness is half of it, and then we're proactive, and we push forwards. And so it's way beyond products and a brand, but it's pushing this movement forward, and supporting one another. So yeah, Annette, you are such a special person to me, and and even though we're far away, I just, we have that soulful connection. And I thank Tarn for putting this together. You and Tarn have been putting your heads together and making this possible. So let's keep it going. And anything I can do, and I mean that, hopefully I'm in Cape Town soon. So, and if not, we have technology. So yeah.
Yes. I'm seeing you in Cape Town with your beautiful gardens, and we're going to play and make some like
Cedarburg. Yes, we're having workshops. I need to raise the funding now, Operation Cedarburg Farm, hands-on training. We're putting it out there. It'll happen. 5 years. Done.
Yes. Call it in. Amazing.
Oh.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Lots of love to you, and we will be in touch very soon. And I will share the code with everyone in my story.
Yes. Okay.
Lots of love.
Next time. Okay.
Yes.
Cheers.
Bye.